From the constant rescheduling to what makes both men so dangerous, this is why Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk will be the biggest fight ever. The boxing world is buzzing right now, and for good reason. We're talking about an unprecedented showdown in the heavyweight division, all 4 belts up for grabs. It's like the Super Bowl of boxing, except maybe even bigger because it's so rare to have everything on the line like this. Initially, everyone thought this mega fight would happen back in late April 2023. But you know how it goes in boxing. Schedules shift and negotiations take time. And now, we're looking at a window from January to early March 2024. It was a long road to get here. In October, there was some chatter about a possible date on December 23rd in Saudi Arabia. And Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder was rumored to be the co-feature. Then on October 25th, Fury and Usyk hit up social media, announcing they'd signed up for a fight. But the date? Still up in the air, though December 23rd was floating around as a possibility. But you know Fury is always full of surprises. After he squared off and won against Francis Ngannou, the former UFC champ, he demanded that the bout with Usyk be postponed, despite Usyk stating that they are contracted for the 23rd of December. By October 29th, they announced it was happening in early 2024. There's no exact date yet, but it's official. They even had a big press conference in London on November 16th to launch it. Now, with a bout this big, both fighters have a lot to gain and even more to lose from this fight. Whoever wins will etch their name in history as a boxing great, while the loser will always be remembered as second best. And while no one can really predict who'll come out on top, we can make educated guesses. Fury's journey has been a roller coaster. He dethroned Klitschko back in 2015, which was a massive upset at the time. Then he took a break due to personal issues, only to come back and dominate Deontay Wilder in a trilogy that really solidified his status as a top heavyweight. His victories over White and Chisora just added to his legend, showing he's still at the top of his game. Usyk's rise is equally impressive, dominating at cruiserweight and then moving up to heavyweight, where he's remained unbeaten with notable wins against Chisora and, of course, Joshua. His transition from cruiserweight to heavyweight has been seamless, which is rare and speaks volumes about his skill and adaptability. Now, with all this in mind, what does each fighter have to prove in this matchup? For Fury, can he maintain his dominance against a technically proficient fighter like Usyk? And for Usyk, facing a giant like Fury, can he outmaneuver and outthink his way to victory against a boxer with such a significant physical advantage? Usyk's strategy will likely be about outsmarting rather than overpowering Fury. His performance against Joshua was a masterclass in boxing intelligence. He's smaller than Fury, sure, but his hand speed, footwork, and ability to use angles were too much for Joshua. He'll need all of that and more against Fury, who's not just bigger but also an incredibly skilled and versatile boxer. Fury, with his height, reach, and weight advantage, could keep Usyk at bay with his jab and punishing combinations. But then again, he might take a more aggressive approach, similar to his second fight with Wilder. He's shown he can adapt his style to his opponent, which makes him unpredictable and dangerous. Fury and Usyk's knockout records are also pretty impressive. They have 38 KOs in 54 professional wins combined. That's some serious power punching. But here's the thing. Neither of these guys is really known for their knockout power, first and foremost. It's there, no doubt, but it's not their headline feature. Take Usyk, for instance. His game isn't about landing one huge fight-ending punch. Instead, he's more about outsmarting and outmaneuvering his opponents. Remember how he handled Joshua? He was like a ghost in the ring, never staying still long enough for Joshua to land anything significant. And yet, Usyk was often the one who looked closer to scoring a stoppage. His punches might not make you wince with their sheer power, but they're so well-timed and precise that they accumulate damage over time. In his fight with Dubois, it was the same story. Usyk didn't knock him out with a single blockbuster punch. It was more about consistent tactical striking, a bit like death by 1,000 cuts. You know? He's a master at breaking down his opponents bit by bit. Fury, on the other hand, is a different beast. The guy's massive, and when he decides to play the role of the aggressor, he can be downright intimidating in the ring. Look back at his second fight with Wilder. That was pure big man dominance. Fury knocked Wilder down twice before finishing him off in the 7th round. He's got the ability to drop an opponent with one solid hit, or he can just wear them down over several rounds with his relentless pressure. When it comes to defense, for Usyk, it isn't just a part of his strategy. It's the cornerstone of his success, especially since he stepped up to the heavyweight division. Because when you're consistently going up against bigger, heavier guys, you can't just stand and trade punches. It's about being smart, and Usyk's got that down to an art form. Now, going against Fury, who's not just tall but also knows how to use his size and reach, defense becomes even more critical for Usyk. He's got to rely on his exceptional footwork, instincts, and boxing smarts to dodge those fight-defining power shots, and somehow get the fight into the later stages where his superior conditioning could give him an edge. If he can avoid Fury's heavy artillery and counter with his own precise strikes, he could start to tip the scales in his favor. Now, Fury. He's a bit of a marvel when it comes to recovery. Remember how he got up from Wilder's knockdowns? Like something out of a movie. But aside from those almost supernatural comebacks, Fury's not easy to hit squarely. His size does give him a kind of natural shield against smaller opponents, who have to overextend themselves to reach him, often leaving their own defense open. Plus, Fury's surprisingly agile for a man of his size. He made Wilder, with all his Olympic-level skills, look pretty basic in their fights. That's no small feat. So, while Fury isn't exactly known as a defensive master, he's far from being an easy target. If Usyk has an edge, it's definitely in the realm of defense and agility. He's going to need to use all of that to handle Fury. This brings me to a critical point in analyzing this fight. What makes Fury and Usyk so dangerous in their own right? What is their X factor? Fury's record in the ring is nothing short of impressive. He's shown time and again that he's a top-tier champion, never really looking like he's in danger of losing in his title fights. But here's the thing about Fury. He's a bit unpredictable. He's dabbled in WWE, talked about cage fighting, and even mentioned a potential bout with Jon Jones. So, the question is, how seriously is he taking the fight with Usyk? Most likely it's not going to be an issue. Fury has proven he can switch on his championship mentality when needed. But if he shows up in December and it seems like he's underestimated Usyk, that could be a major turning point. A less than fully prepared Fury might find himself struggling against a fighter as skilled and determined as Usyk. On the other side, there's Usyk, facing what might be the biggest challenge of his career. Sure, he's faced and conquered big names like Joshua and Dubois, but Fury is a different beast altogether. Not only does Fury tower over Usyk in terms of size, but his skill set is also exceptionally refined. Usyk's intelligence and adaptability have served him well so far. But Fury is not just another large heavyweight. He's a large heavyweight with an elite level of talent. The real test for Usyk will be how he adapts when the usual tactics that worked against Joshua and Dubois don't cut it with Fury. What's Usyk's plan B? How will he adjust his strategy when faced with someone who can match and potentially surpass his boxing IQ and skills? One possible adjustment for Usyk could be to incorporate more physicality into his style. While he can't match Fury's size, he can use his speed to create angles and openings, allowing him to get inside and work Fury's body, potentially slowing him down over the course of the fight. Usyk's stamina is another key factor. He could look to drag Fury into the later rounds where his superior conditioning could become a significant advantage. This means playing a bit of a waiting game in the early rounds, focusing on defense, and then ramping up the pressure as the fight progresses. Another aspect of Usyk's plan B could involve focusing on counterpunching. Fury, for all his skill, does take risks in the ring. If Usyk can time his counters effectively, he could score crucial points and potentially hurt Fury. But we'll just have to wait and see. So, from what makes both men so dangerous to the constant rescheduling, this is why Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk will be the biggest fight ever.